Hi there, this is Ronnie coming at you with a video. I live in Scotland, if you didn't know from the accent, but I have been watching the unfurling story over the last few years of getting marriage equality out there in America, and a whole back and forth. Yesterday, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution really does protect the rights of same-sex couples to marry. The only thing I can really say on it is it's a fucking shame it has taken so long to get to what was such an obvious answer. And yes, I know that the decision was 5-4 and it really should have been 9-0, to be honest. But I get the impression that the Supreme Court is never really going to have a unanimous view on anything. How do I feel about it? I think the Supreme Court of the United States has reached both a just and a moral verdict, and the correct one. This notion that because a certain subsect of society oppose equality for legitimate couples, and let me state this, we're talking about legitimate couples here. We're not talking about illegitimate couples. We're not talking about child abuse, which sadly I've heard again people comparing gay couples with child abusers. Wrong. Comparing it with, incest and bestiality. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The only thing that you can truly compare a gay couple to is a straight couple. And they should be both equal and have the same rights and privileges and responsibilities under the law. And this is certainly the case. This is what the Supreme Court has acknowledged and understood, and has realized that it is protected under the Constitution. Why it's taken this long, I will never understand. And it's not, people say, religious freedom. Freedom to be a bigot. Okay, you have the right to be a bigot if you want to be. But don't demand that the law be as hateful and as ignorant and as backwards as you are. To those who uphold the traditional marriage, there's a whole raft of arguments against that. But rather than go through all that nonsense again, I will just say that this ruling does not change one iota any marriage between a man and a woman. It does not degrade it. It does not downsize it. It does not downgrade it in any way. Traditional marriage hasn't changed one iota because of this ruling. All that's happened is that other legitimate couples in America are now being afforded the same right that straight legitimate couples have, and rightly so. Rightly so. I think America did the right thing. I think the Supreme Court has done the right thing. You hear all these stories about people who were going to set themselves on fire if marriage equality happens. Hey, I'll match for you. Although I love the fact that now that it's happened, the pastor who said he'd set himself on fire if the Supreme Court allowed marriage equality. Now that marriage equality has happened, he's now backtracked and said, well, I didn't really mean I was actually going to set myself on fire. You know, if you're going to have convictions, folks, have convictions. I'm very happy about this. It may not come across that way, but you know, I'm more of a laid-back person. I'm happy that you know, gay couples can get married if they so wish. As for religions looking for an opt-out, I actually prefer the version we have here in Scotland, and I think America should embrace it, which is the opt-in system. The opt-in system means that no religious institution in Scotland are legally required to perform marriages for same-sex couples unless they wish to. If they wish to, they say, hey, we're opting in, and then they can do it. Otherwise, they cannot be compelled to do so. And I think that's the model that America should have. And that would protect the religious freedom of those who want to protect traditional marriage. And it would also protect the religious freedoms of those religious institutions that want to perform same-sex marriages. And that's not just gay churches. There's a lot of Christian organizations, Quakers, pagans, humanists, and let's remember that marriage is not a religious institution. Marriage is a legal right. Marriage, in order for someone to be legally recognized as married, it must be legally recognized by the law of the land, not the church. So people can get married in a registrar office or a courtroom. They can have a civil marriage. It's still a marriage. There is no difference. The only difference is the ceremony, not the piece of paper. The piece of paper is exactly the same. It affords exactly the same rights and privileges and responsibilities. For those who really have a problem with this, I have 3 words. Get over it. Seriously, get over it. There are people who don't have enough money to buy bread. There is incredible inequality where the haves have far too much and the have-nots have too fucking little. People have been arguing, a lot of the naysayers have been arguing, why are we talking about gay marriage? It's not an issue. Get on to poverty and war and all of those. And to an extent, they're right. Here's the problem though. It actually only became a problem not because of the gay lobbies looking to secure the rights they should always have had, but because of all the naysayers dragging everything on for years and years and years. If the naysayers had just shut up and stopped bleating their inane stupidity, this situation would have been dealt with long ago, and would have been dealt with the decision that came yesterday. And everyone would have moved on to the next big thing. But instead, the naysayers dragged it all out. Just dragged it, dragged their heels, dragged their knuckles, because they're so Neanderthal and they're backwards thinking. They caused the problem. They elongated the argument, not the gay lobby. And there's still equality. There's still work to be done there. But there's work to be done in society. There's a lot of inequality. There certainly is here in the UK, and the US isn't far behind it either. But this is a good day. It really is. It does, however, mean that of the sort of English-speaking nations of the world, the sort of big nations, we now have the strange situation where Northern Ireland here in the UK doesn't allow gay couples to marry, even though the rest of the UK does. So it's kind of holding out. And then there's Australia, which is starting to look very backwards over this issue. But I'm pretty sure this momentum is going to continue now. It's not going to grind to a halt. So it's a good day. The naysayers just, you know, give it up, man. Just accept that morality and justice is won here, rather than inequality and bigotry. And move on. Tackle real social problems. Tackle, you know, tackle the real problems. And let's get on with things. So, well done to SCOTUS. Well done to the LGBT lobby for never giving up. And well done, America, for taking a step forward for humanity.